All right, guys, we got a 2013 Toyota RAV4 XLE. This is a four-wheel drive, so I'm going to show you all the parts I'm going to use. Two-wheel and four-wheel, the process is the same, just the parts are going to be different, okay? This is a four-wheel drive. So, this person got new tires, so the person who worked on this car took care of him. They buffed this up really well to put the tires on. So it's a good shop he went to. They even scraped off, buffed out his rim there. I like that. Anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this caliper. We're gonna change the pads and rotors. We're gonna take off this 14, this 14. We're gonna take off the 17 here, this one in the bottom, right here for the bracket. We're gonna change the hardware. We're gonna change the pads and rotors, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the e-brakes inside. Anyways, tools. We're gonna need two ratchets or one ratchet. It's up to you. I like to use a long one here with a lot of leverage. This is a 3/8 drive. Short one, same size, 3/8. We got a 17mm socket and a 14mm socket. We got a vice grip. We got a torque wrench. We got greasing, silicone greasing for the slider pins. And I got my other grease on the other side. And we got a flathead screwdriver. All right, so we're gonna start this job. Okay, to start off this job, we're gonna remove this 14 here, counterclockwise, 14mm, and a 14mm here. Once these two are loose, you should be able to take it off by hand. If you can't, it's okay. If this spins with it, you put a vice grip on this. So far I didn't need to, but we got the vice grip ready just in case. So this baby comes off, this baby comes off. If you need to use your flathead screwdriver, you can pry this guy out of here with the flathead screwdriver. Take this baby, just let it sit to the side here. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna go more back inside here. We're gonna remove the two 17mm here. Okay, so we're gonna take our 17mm here. We're gonna remove this bolt here. So it's gonna be a little bit tough than 14mm. That's why you need a longer ratchet, more leverage. This guy's loose. I don't want to take it off complete. And I'm going to try to fish out this bottom one here. Once this one is loose, your bracket's going to start to move. Okay, once it's loose, you can take it off, put it to the side. Do not lose it. You're gonna reuse that bolt. Same thing here. If you take it off by hand, good. Our brake pads are still in there. He still had a little bit of a life, but his disc was no good. There you go. This guy comes right off. We're gonna put this to the side, and we're gonna bring our camera out. And there's our disc. So you would tap this disc in the back with the hammer, so that's another thing we're gonna need. Okay, before we smack it with the hammer, you want to take the rubber piece off because you're gonna have to put this on the new water, or water will get in there. Do the same thing for the opposite side. If you have a needle nose, that will just fish it out for you. There you go. What you want to do next is you want to tap this. Make sure you don't have your emergency brake on. That's gonna lock your shoes inside here. Okay, once it's straight, it should come off easily. There you go. All that rust and corrosion in there. What we're gonna do next is, this is the shoes, okay? This is your e-brake, emergency brake. Spray this down a bit. Do not try to adjust this unless first you put on a new disc, and the adjustment is down here. So 1 or 2 clicks. With the new disc, since it's not worn out, it might be tighter. You might have to adjust it, but that felt really tight compared to the opposite side. So I'm gonna leave it there for now. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take our wire brush, gonna clean this hub, for any rust. Okay, this one looks pretty clean, but clean it anyway. If it looks really dirty, rusty, you might want to buff it down and spray cleaner on it one more time, and do the same thing here. You know what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna clean a little bit of the surface where the pad is gonna sit and spray this baby down before we compress this baby down. So that's done. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna take a little bit of a greasing and we're gonna put the grease on this hub. Okay, so take a little bit of this grease. This is a high temp brake grease, and just put some on the hub here. This is gonna let your rotor sit flush, plus it's gonna let the rotor come off really easy for the next time. Okay, that's done. What we want to do next is we want to compress this piston here, caliper, and you can put if you're using a C-clamp, put a brake pad in there, but if you got a tool like this on Toyotas, it fits perfectly on it just like that, and this thing goes in nice and smooth. Any hesitation with that is no good. That means bad caliper. Okay, let's prep our bracket here. So let's take off the old brake pads. Pay attention to the hardware. This is in the bottom, so you might want to put it in the bottom, and wherever you take it off at, there's a reason for it. And same thing here, take off this guy. Let's take off this hardware here. We got a new hardware. There you go. Okay, before that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this baby up really good, right where the hardware is gonna sit. The cleaner the better. That way your brake pads can sit in there nice and easy. They're not gonna be tight. They're gonna move freely. Let's spray some of this, some of this. If you want to put some greasing there, you can do so. So what I want to do next is inside our brake pads, let me show you the brake pads we got. We're using Evolutions. That's the brand. Part number, this is for 4-wheel drive. So if you got a 2-wheel drive, it can be same, it can be different, okay? So inside you're gonna have these hardware. There's two different ones, okay? I'm gonna show you the difference here. Okay, let's grab the old one here. If you look at the gap in between, okay, just match up the gap. Some of them are wider, okay, so that won't work out. So make sure you use the correct one, and you're gonna stick this baby in just like that, very easy. Okay, make sure you push right in the center there. That will hit the disc and cause some type of scrape. But what we're gonna do prior to that is, that was just to match it up. We're gonna take this guy off. We're gonna take a little bit of grease, because I see this is getting rusted, so plus we don't want anything metal to metal. There you go, that looks good to me. Now, since you know the correct hardware, you can stick this baby in just like that. Okay, same thing up here. There you go. This one is too free, so since I probably messed with it already, you might want to open this up a bit and retry it. There you go. Should not come out, okay? So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get our disc next. Okay, next step, we got our disc here. So the part number right there, and we're gonna take a parts cleaner. So this thing has oil in there, so make sure you clean this baby really good. Give it another spray. Nice and clean. Okay, for the other side, same thing, but let's start off with the inside, okay? That's where the emergency shoes are gonna touch. You don't want any oil on that either. And then you can do the outside edge. Bada bing, bada boom. All set to go on the car. Okay, next step, we're gonna take our disc here, and it doesn't matter which stud you stick in there. You can put it here, you can put it here, anywhere you like. See that? So I think I'm gonna leave my e-brake there. We can always adjust it from here. We don't want it too tight. Stick in that rubber boot. So next step, we're gonna put on our bracket, which is from back here. Okay, boys and girls. Next step here is we're gonna put our caliper in, bracket in. We have one more step to do, which we're gonna do as soon as this thing is held in place. That way I can use both of my hands. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go get a torque wrench and we're gonna torque these babies right now. But let me just snug it as much as I can with that wrench, and the bottom one feels a little stiff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a small ratchet in this case, and I'm gonna snug this baby all the way. Oops. Sorry about the camera movement there. Well, let me just bring this camera back, but I can't because I don't have no space back here. There you go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get a torque wrench, and I'm gonna show you guys what the specs are. Okay, boys and girls, so we got this baby. Torque wrench's spec is 65 foot-pound. So listen to the click. There you go. 65 foot-pound is applied. Do the same thing for the top one here. You got more than enough clearance. 65 foot-pound. There you go. Double check your work. We got 65 foot-pound there. Okay. While our camera is there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull out this slider pin, and it has a rubber boot there. So make sure this one goes in the bottom. We're gonna clean this baby off with a rag. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this silicone grease right here. You can pick these up from the store. 25 bucks, that little bottle. So we're gonna apply a little tiny bit to this slider pin, and we're gonna stick it on, and make sure your rubber boot here goes on it. Do the same thing for this top one here. Clean it off, and a little bit of silicone grease all around it. Let me just grab a little bit more. There you go. And stick this baby on. Make sure this rubber boot can't get caught. You don't want water in there. Okay, so far looking good. We're gonna bring our camera out a bit, and we're gonna put on our brake pads, and we're gonna pretty much finish out this job. Okay guys, we got our brake pads. Brake pads, you're gonna have a hardware kit, something like this. You want to stick this on in the bottom, because this thing needs to open up in the bottom, so that thing will give it a little bit of force so the rotor can travel on high speed. So this thing goes one way, okay, just in that direction. If you put it this way, it's wrong, okay? It's correct only, oops, it's correct only one way. If you put it that way like I showed you, it's gonna make so much noise. Your brake pad is gonna tell you that it's done within 5,000 miles, probably less. Or probably it's gonna start making immediately noise. It's gonna rub against that disc. So what you want to do next is your brake pad should go in nice and easy. Okay, let's spin our disc so there's no noise. Perfect, no noise. So your brake pads should go in nice and easy. You should not have to force this brake pad in, meaning I'm gonna show you at the end. As soon as I get this baby in there, okay, you're gonna have to move these a bit. So watch this. You see that? I did that with one finger, okay? You should not have to tap this guy with a hammer or anything like that. Same thing, this guy in the bottom. If you need to tap or anything like that, either you need to file this a bit. Just file the paint on the tips of the pads. If anything, you might not have done this cleaning properly. But there you go. We're gonna take our caliper here. Okay, before we do the caliper, we do need to put some greasing here and some greasing here on the outer edges of the brake pads. Okay, there you go. Solid job. Okay, so you pay attention to this line now. If you put this caliper like that, you see that line twisted? No good. Make sure you get this thing nice and smooth. And remember to pump your brake pedal once you're all complete and you're done, your wheels are on. Before you start the engine, pump your brake pedal. It's gonna be soft and it's gonna get hard, and you're all done. Okay, so now we need to get this baby down to 20 foot-pound. Okay, so we're gonna come down all the way down to 20 foot-pound. Right, okay, we went down to 10. There you go. We're gonna change this to a 14 millimeter, and we're gonna snug this. So if this turns by any chance, use your vice grip I showed you in the beginning to hold it. 20 foot-pound is nothing. Okay, it's very tiny. So every vehicle is different, so make sure you do correct amount of spec. That's it. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned for other videos on my channel, and I am going to be doing a belt on this vehicle. So we're done here. Thank you for watching. Toyota RAV4 rear brake pads and rotors. Solid job with torque specs.